As Dickon Langhorne finished preparing his master's horse, he looked over the tourney grounds and saw his future. The seventh son of a family of 14, Dickon would never inherit any great lands or money. The Langhorne name wouldn't gain him access to any great banquets or honors. All he had was a lance, a sword, and a dream. And of course, a squireship. He had been 12 when he was taken under Ser Tymond. He was now 19, and a far greater swordsman than his master, which Ser Tymond did his best to hide. Dickon stood and went to the Seventh River, a tavern near the tourney grounds. There, a huge, white-haired, purple-eyed knight sat, emptying a flagon of ale, a tavern wench on his lap. Dickon sighed, picked up a tankard of ale from a table of chattering Ibbenese, and dumped the amber liquid over Edrik's head. The giant roared in anger and threw the girl off his lap as if she were a rag doll, and he turned and drew his sword. Then the rage turned to surprise, then laughter. "Dickon, you son of a whore, you got me again!" Dick smiled at his friend. "Maybe, if you were more aware of your surroundings, there would be more fine ale in the world." Edrik laughed again. "More aware? I've been evading Valyrian sellswords for nigh on 20 years. And don't get me started on my opinions of ale." The pair roared in laughter and walked to the exit of the tavern. The soaked horse scoffed audibly in their wake. As the door opened and flooded their eyes with brilliant sunlight, Dickon remembered his reason for collecting Edrik in the first place. "Did you hear? Lord Aaron's calling knights. He plans to attack the lands of the mountains." Edric's response was a derisive snort. "The man's brave, I'll give him that. The other attackers have been ambushed or crushed by rocks. If he can do it, I'll be impressed. But I think our best bet is this Varric person. Word around the tavern is he's a capable warrior, smart, and charismatic. Sounds like the perfect leader." Dickon smiled. "That's why we're going to the tournament, isn't it?" As the companions reached the pavilions, where the contestants were to prepare themselves for the coming battles, the pair began to seek shelter for themselves and their horses. Tourney tents are traditionally first come first serve. However, Edrik had a rather persuasive method of obtaining a tent in a prime location. He burst into the tent, grabbed the resident knight by the scruff of his neck, and tossed him out. His reputation and size afforded him silence for many knights who happened to witness the event. Meanwhile, Dickon entered the next tent over, speaking eloquently of the finer tents to be had across the tourney grounds. Smiling as the knights left, he wondered if they would enjoy the smell of the brothel's latrines, or if they would come back and try to reclaim their fine tent. If they did, he would introduce them to Edrik. The next day saw the opening of the competition. The pair met outside their tents as the morning sun was beginning to burnish the sky with orange and gold. Edrik was already in his gallant black plate mail, silver kissing the edge of each segment. Beneath his arm was his glimmering black helm, its plume of purple peacock feathers bent lazily in the morning breeze. Dickon's armor was less ornate, mismatched, and worn from whatever knight had owned it last. He pulled his greaves up to his elbow and flexed his hand to settle them into place. He looked Edrik up and down and scoffed audibly. Without a word, the companions began the short march to the tourney grounds, eyeing the competition as they passed. There was a painfully thin cohort with a spear, and a shy battle priest riding a striped horse. Even a Dothraki screamer with his curved arc and a naked torso grooming a mighty brown horse. The two disregarded them all. Had they been capable warriors, they would have no need to travel to the heart of Andalos in order to compete in the tournament. Edrik was an exception, and everyone knew him as such. Each warrior they passed could hardly keep from staring at the famous Edrik Delmar, Dragonbane. Dickon rolled his eyes and glanced over at his companion. "You know, I need a knighthood. Many need money. You have both. Why are you here?" Edrik snorted. Got bored of killing pirates and Valyrians, I suppose. Got bored of knighting your friends, too. Edrik sighed. For the last time, I'm a landless knight. I would only be able to knight you if you were my squire. I'm sorry. You gotta find another way. Hopefully this'll be it. Hopefully. As the pair neared the tourney grounds, a large crowd had gathered at the entrance. What in the seven hells is all this, then? Edrik scoffed, craning his neck to see above the crowd. He was already a head taller than any man in the crowd, yet the mob was so massive it took him a moment before he cursed and told Dickon what he saw. It's Lionel Redfield. The crowd parted enough for Dickon to make out the fabled Sir Redfield. He was atop his chestnut destrier, wearing brilliant silver armor, gleaming in the morning sunlight. Flares of crimson enamel streaked across his torso, and a black crow emblazoned the chest of his doublet. The visor of his great helm was raised to reveal his ruddy face. The hint of a beard adorned his chin and cheeks, and his long hair flowed from beneath his helm. The son of a whore, he takes credit for killing Mogo the Horse Lord, and then has the gall to show up here after proclaiming knighthood. He certainly appears to be a crowd favorite, Dickon goaded, grinning wryly and looking up at Edrik. His companion had grown red in the face, his eyes locked onto the gallon light. If it bothers you so much, you'll be able to challenge him in the tournament. This did not appear to calm his friend, but Edrik loosened his grip on his sword and nodded slightly. They all think he's the ideal knight, brave and dutiful, but they weren't there to see him stab the pirate king Ceres in the back. When I get my hands on him, I'll crumple him into a ball and throw him into the sun. Edrik's voice was calm, murderous, and bitter cold. That's the spirit, Dickon sighed, and the pair continued their march toward the competitor's tent.